Hello and welcome back to the Fixing Football podcast, the number one podcast around for Euro 2024 coverage. We are back off the victorious drinking session that most people in the country have been doing after England have reached the semi-finals. Here with me is Liam O'Meara. Welcome, Liam. How are you?
Very well. How are you doing, Martin? You okay?
I'm good. It's nice that someone's asked this week. That's nice of you. Scott, coming back off his birthday jaunts. How are you, mate? Happy birthday from everyone.
Thank you very much. Yeah, very, very well. I feel well rested. Had a few days off, bit of time away in the spa, and I feel rested and ready for the remainder of this wonderful tournament that we've had.
Well, that's what I was going to actually talk about this because I feel like it's one of the tournaments that I have watched the least just through life and work commitments. I feel like I've not watched as many games as I would usually, and I would have liked to. But what would you summarise this tournament as so far? Good. I mean, I've enjoyed every match I've watched. If that helps, if that's the thing.
Yeah, I think I have as well. I think it's one of those where you get it with the World Cup, and there's usually a bit more to go at. The group stages are always, you've got games all throughout the day, depending where it's being held, of course. But you've usually got games throughout the course of a day. And if you're lucky enough to be a remote worker these days, that's absolutely wonderful because you can sit at home, do your work, and watch 3-4 games of football kick off throughout the day. So I think that plays a big part in the early stages, and then as you go through the knockouts, you don't have as much time to dedicate to it. But no, I think overall, I think it's been a really solid tournament. I think we've seen who we thought would be standout teams, maybe not be as convincing as we would like to think. And I think, Liam, you maybe made a great point this last week when I wasn't here about the level that we've become accustomed to with Premier League and other major leagues, maybe, I guess, skewing our perception of what good looks like on the international stage. Maybe we are watching some good tournaments, but we're just used to, the campaign football of the Premier League every week. But overall, no, same as you, Martin. I've really, really enjoyed it. I think seeing some great. I've really enjoyed watching Georgia when they were in it. They were brilliant to watch, and even Romania in the group stages. I really enjoyed watching them. But yeah, some surprise packages, and yeah, I don't think there's been anything to write home about. To be fair, in terms of anything bad, I don't think it's been. I don't know what you two think, but I think it's been pretty good.
Yeah, like I said, pretty good. I would have loved to have sat down and watched more matches. Liam, what's your overriding assessment of the tournament?
Very similar area to Scott, to be completely honest. I've seen quite a lot of it, to be fair. One of the good things about the Euros, and one of the reasons I don't know if I prefer the Euros, but from a watching perspective, it's always better, is because of the kickoff times.
Yeah.
So it always falls this way. So, and this year is no different. So, yeah, I've really enjoyed it. It's nice to hear Scott agreeing with my point rather than just arguing the toss over the details of it. Because it's obvious that is right. That's not a hot take. It's a normal temperature take. So, yeah, I think it's been good. I've seen a few people moan about the quality of games, like boring games, but I've not seen it that way. And a lot of football games can be like that. Like, if you watch a championship game on a Friday night, and again, I watch a lot of football, but if you're watching Millwall versus Derby next year, there's going to be points in that game where you're going to be bored because football isn't always exciting, and that's kind of what makes it exciting. So I've enjoyed it. What about you, Martin?
Yeah, like I mean, you probably get a lot more part-time fans when it's international tournament time, and a lot more people just having an opinion on it because instead of a 5 to 6 million audience on TV for an England match, you're probably getting 18 to 20 million, like what BBC and ITV are reporting. So you're going to have a lot more just eyes on, and therefore a lot more opinions being shouted out. But yeah, and I think this has been alluded to as well, that the quality is probably higher in the Euros because you don't have any lower ranked teams sneaking through during the qualifying. You get the odd one, but not as many in the World Cup. So general quality is just higher overall anyway. I think it's been really good. Not heard any. We've not heard much about fan troubles or travel problems or issues with the police and stuff. So I think it seems like it's being run very well over there.
Yeah, and just on that, Martin, as well, the quality. I think there's a real case for it to go to 32. The only thing I probably don't like still is the third place situation. I get why it's set like that, because 24 going from 16 to 32 is a big jump. So I get why it's been that way. But I think the teams that have come in, and you consider some of the teams that haven't qualified: Sweden, Norway, Republic of Ireland, Northern Ireland, Wales. They're not terrible sides either. And then that's the next bracket of teams that potentially could qualify. I think Greece didn't qualify either. So there's a lot of, Russia at some point are going to play football again. So there's another bracket, I think, below where another 8 wouldn't diminish this tournament, I don't think, now.
No, that's a good point, to be fair. So, listen, let's move on to the big match from this past weekend, England v Switzerland. We made it through on penalties. How were both of you during this? Scott, I'll start with you. How did the match play out for you? And then talk to me about the penalties.
Yeah, I thought it's the best we've played all tournament. I think for the first probably hour, I think we were considerably better than Switzerland, I thought. I don't really think they were really laying a glove on us. So I was impressed with that. It's still, as the longer the game went on, the more that you could just see a bit of the energy starting to sap and the belief starting to maybe ebb away a little bit in some, like we weren't as we didn't have as much conviction with our passing, I thought, as the game got a bit on. It started to give the Swiss a bit of a belief that they could come in and nick something. So a better game overall. The subs again is a big problem. Made them extremely late, and whether it's coincidence or not, within 45 seconds of the substitutes coming on, we score. Although it wasn't a sub who scored, the timing was very, very convenient on us making some changes in response to going behind, and then us going ahead. I don't know what you think on that.
No, can I just ask, because I missed most of the first half. I was away internationally DJing this weekend.
Fair enough.
And so I missed the sort of build-up and most of the first half. But there was a lot of talk going into the match about a potential back three with Saka and potentially Trent at wing-backs. I think that was the main speculation. I know Trent didn't start, so it didn't play out like that. And when I didn't see Trent on the starting lineup, I assumed it was a flat back four again with Trippier at left back. But and then by the time I was watching it, it seemed like formation had gone completely out the window. It seemed like we had totally reverted to type. So what was that starting lineup? Was Saka like a right wing back? Is that how we were playing?
I wouldn't have said. We were quite on the front foot. It seemed business as usual to me from what I could see. I didn't really notice Saka taking up a much more defensive role than he was. But I think it's mainly because he didn't have to, because we were controlling the game, so he didn't have to. We weren't really on the back foot enough for him to. If that was the job he was given, he didn't really have what many times he was called on to do it.
Yeah, I think it was different. I think Scott's right. I think naturally Saka stayed forward, so what tended to happen is it was kind of a bit of a shift leftwards, and Trippier was staying back. I understand from obviously listening to other podcasts and reading newspaper reports that the idea was potentially to bring Trent Alexander-Arnold in and Saka at left back, but they wanted Trippier against Dan Ndoye. They picked at Ndoye as a particular threat, and they wanted Trippier to match him coming inside, tackling with his right foot. That was the thinking behind that. I mean, maybe for me, but yeah, it was a change. It was a change, though. It'll be interesting to see. Konza played very well. So I think there's a decision to be made there with Gay, because a lot of people have praised Gay. I've been a bit more on the fence. I think he's got away with a couple of mistakes, to be honest.
Stones isn't going to go anywhere, is he? So it's going to be one of Konza and Gay. What I did like about Konza, before you crack on, is while Gay's arguably been England's most consistent player during this competition, what Konza did well was pass it through the lines really well. Like, miss out Rice. It seems to be centre-backs just give it to Rice, and then Rice plays it back and forth and side to side, which is, he keeps the ball moving. but not as progressive as some might like him to be. Whereas Consul was shifting that ball through either to Foden, Bellingham, Manu, who were a little bit more advanced, and then Rice can go and support them, which I liked.
Yeah,
I mean, do you agree with that, Liam?
Well, he's played in that narrow Villa team, isn't it? Because that
Yeah.
Villa team is so compact. Like, there's no width and there's no depth. They're all like within a yard of each other. So he's kind of used to playing in tight spaces, and he's confident in playing progressive passes because essentially he doesn't always have someone hugging the touchline as an out ball. So he's naturally become more accustomed to playing that. So, yeah, I liked him, and I think he gave a lot of confidence to others in the team that they can step forward. I would be very reluctant to drop him for Gay,
I
to
agree.
be completely honest.
100%.
And I think moving forward, I mean, we'll talk about Saka in a minute, but I would be trying to get Trent Alexander-Arnold starting. If we're playing right wing back, it seems ludicrous for him to not play. If you're playing that formation, it seems ludicrous to not play him. But they probably won't do it because they'll probably keep that same formation, and maybe Luke Shaw might come in.
Well, that was what I was going to say. Shaw was back, Scott. Got about... I mean, did he come on just before full time or just play extra time?
Literally after Switzerland scored. So it was the changes in response. So it was Shaw, Palmer, and oh God.
Eze, wasn't it?
Yeah, Eze. Yeah, you're right. So, yeah. Again, he's allegedly our hero and our saviour. I don't know if there's anything to read into it, if that means he's now fit to start at left back. I don't know. Up against the Netherlands, I don't know if that's going to be a semi-fit Luke Shaw up against someone as physical as Depay. I don't know if that's a wise move personally. But yeah, he was back. He didn't really get much too involved because it was right towards the end of the game. So I don't think he really stood out particularly. But he's back and he's fit apparently. So we're going to win it now. We're going to win it all now.
That's
what I'm told.
Let's go positive for a minute. Someone who's had a bit of criticism, some even from within this group, Scott. I'm not going to point the fingers at anyone, but Bukayo Saka, another man of the match performance for England. Great goal. Stepped up to take a penalty again. I mean, everyone's gone on and on about Italy and then this redemption story, if you will. But what did you think? Did he deserve man of the match? From everything I saw, I thought he looked like he was having a good game. First, I'm not going to say he's our main attacking threat. He looked like he was playing well, like he was on it. He receives the ball well with his back to a defender and turns them. He stays wide. He's arguably our biggest goal threat after Kane. So, I mean, what did you make of his performance and everything he's received since?
So the chosen one is not our biggest goal threat after Kane. That's an interesting take.
No. I mean, I don't think anyone would say that. He's just the chosen one.
I know someone who would say that, but I'm not going to name names. But on Bukayo Saka, did he have a good game? Scored the goal to keep us in the game itself and scored a penalty. So, yes, but prior to that, I'd seen him a lot kind of try and do the same kind of thing. It's kind of his move, isn't it? It's like put it on the left, ping that in from outside the area. I think did he score against United? Like almost a carbon copy of that goal. So, yeah, sure it was against United. So you could see he was trying to do that quite a bit. And he's not very good one-on-one with his man. Oh, he wasn't in that particular game anyway. So there was a lot of fans in the bar I was watching at were getting very frustrated with him because he was just consistently trying to get on to try and make that shot for himself. And it was after a few times you just think, fucking give it up, mate. It's not happening today. But then it happened today and he scored it. So yeah, can't really criticize him too much. He stepped up. He has had a lot of shit from a lot of it. And I give him shit quite regularly to be fair, because he is still prone to his old limp off when he has a bit of a stinker. But he limped off the other day, having an absolutely brilliant game. So yeah, I can't really hate on him too much. He pretty much dragged us through that tie on his own, near enough. So I can't really speak too negatively on Bukayo Saka. I don't know if you saw what I saw, Liam, in terms of a frustrating performance that was saved by a goal. Don't know if you thought the same.
Saka. I must have felt like I was watching a different game, hearing the praise on both Saka and Foden after this game. I must admit, when I've heard BBC were
Interesting.
gushing all sorts over Phil Foden at halftime.
Really?
Well,
He was awful.
I was thinking we needed to bring him on, to be honest. With Saka, he did look dangerous, I think. But the amount of times the move breaks down when he gets the ball, I find infuriating, to be completely honest. He gives the ball away far too much for me. I didn't realise how much, to be honest. I thought he was a much more tidy player than this when I've seen him play for Arsenal. Maybe people are quicker to get around him when he's on the ball at Arsenal, but for me, he seems to misplace passes a lot. But what I will say is he did step up at a big moment, and it was a very, very, very good goal. Really good goal. And he made the most of the space that was provided to him at that point. He's not the problem by any means. Like, I'm not sitting here saying the issue is Saka by any means, but I'm seeing people talking about it like he's won the game on his own. And I think that's pushing a little bit of an agenda in my view.
I think you made a good point about players getting around him. I think that is the key because we have, especially in the first 4 games, not particularly this one, but yeah, we have been isolating the wingers. We've been trying to keep really wide, and him being isolated out there. You're probably right, Scott. He's not great one-on-one if he fronts up a defender. He's not known for skilling people or knocking it and running. He does tend to receive the ball with his back to a defender and turn him because he's really strong and he's really good on the ball. So that is the move. Is turning inside. So
it does make sense if you think about the idea of people around him. I think about the way Arsenal play, and Odegaard's always drawn to the ball, isn't he? He essentially will, wherever the ball is, he will go closer to that position.
Well, everything at Arsenal is pointed at Saka's wing, and we, on purpose, I think, intentionally, generally leave Martinelli really wide and then isolate him because he is great one-on-one. So, yeah, but it makes loads of sense.
Even the forward, the false 9 of either Jesus or Havertz, because they're both false 9s. Jesus doesn't even like wearing the Brazil 9. Like, so they will both do the same thing, won't they? They will both drawn to Saka to try and get him out of those tight spaces, try and get him free on that left foot. Essentially, to the goal. That's his goal, isn't it? Like that's what he's done. That's who he is.
Yeah, it's like the new Robin. You can see it coming a mile off, and then all it just happens.
I think that's a stretch, but I'm very happy.
The new Robin.
No, he's better than Robin. Robin didn't kick a ball till he was about 28. I want to talk about Harry Kane, or the Harry Kane conundrum that I've seen a lot of speculation about. I mean, Scott, I don't think Kane's had a great tournament, but I think he's been doing he's been trying to do a disciplined role in terms of staying high. I think the big criticism that everyone's had of Kane, especially in an England shirt, is that he comes too deep and there's no one then to hit. So I think on purpose, whether he's physically able to or physically not capable of doing the amount of running that he would like to do in terms of dropping back, but also discipline in terms of staying up. If we're keeping wingers really high, that we need someone else there with them.
Mm-hmm.
So part of me thinks that Kane's doing this on purpose, but I don't think anyone can say that he's having a great tournament.
He isn't. I would agree with that 100%.
So the big question is, would England be better without him at the moment?
No, I don't think so. I still think if a chance is to fall to somebody, let's be realistic, he's the guy that you want chance to fall to.
100%.
So, and that's worth a lot. I do think he's struggling. I don't think he's fit at all. I think he's really, really struggling. I don't know if he's injured or he's just fatigued. I don't know what's going on, but there was a moment where Saka was cutting down the wing. And I think from Saka receiving the ball, to whipping it in. Kane had covered about 8 yards. Like, and he was still like Saka placed this ball and it landed pretty much on the penalty spot where you'd want your striker to be. And Kane was still outside the area. And the ball came from pretty much the England defence. I can't remember when in the game this was exactly, but Kane barely covered any yards at all. And it's like, that's the movement of somebody who is struggling. Like, he must be in pain to not make that run.
Exactly. They have been talking about this back injury that they've been carrying for a while. I mean, I'm suffering with a back injury, and it's probably the same. I mean, he's been carrying Bayern Munich, and I've been carrying this podcast for a year, so it probably makes. I mean, Liam, what do you think about Kane and his performances?
Well, they're not good. The performances aren't good. That's I don't think there's anyone who could argue differently. To be completely honest, he will start like that. There's just no way.
100%. I mean, he will. Yeah, this is just the question that's going around, though, isn't it?
And you can say anyone could say Southgate hasn't got the ball to drop him, but I don't think anyone would really drop Harry Kane going into an Euro semi-final, right?
No.
The boost that would give Netherlands. We can all talk about Ivan Toney doing well when he comes off the bench, but are you kidding me? Like, when O'Coleman sits there's like, you what? But it does look like Southgate is prepared to take him off. I think he waited a little bit because we were on top in the Switzerland game for a bit longer. But I think he is prepared to sub him. I just want it to turn around. I do wonder, like you do, about fitness. I do wonder about that. But I also think it just might be a symptom of the fact he's just not getting the ball in the area he wants to. And it's just...
Yeah.
Like it has done for a lot of strikers that are asked to sort of unnaturally stay in that position. It isn't his natural game now. It's hard if you're not getting any kind of encouragement. And I think it's getting in his head a bit.
Maybe.
Similar to Ronaldo, except, you know...
all the camera focus.
Well, yeah, exactly. He's a bit more of a normal person. But I think it's getting to him a little bit. It's getting in his head.
Potentially. I think you're right.
It's weird though, because it's not like he's not popped up and helped us though. Like he's on a drag, like he scored in the last round and in the groups as well, which he hadn't done before. So I do find it very unusual. But yeah, I wouldn't be looking at dropping it though, because Toney can't do the same job, and Watkins' game is totally different. You're changing the entire system if you're playing Watkins, I think. So
yeah, to be honest, I do think Toney could do this role that Kane's.
Yeah.
If he is being asked to do, I think Toney could do that. If Kane were to pop up injured tomorrow, I wouldn't be concerned that we didn't have someone who it would totally change our game. I think Toney would go in as starting, but yeah, you've just got to start with Kane. It was Liam. You did mention about the subs and him willing to take him off. That did surprise me with the game almost obviously going to penalties. The fact that he did.
I don't think he backed him. To be completely honest, I think he's worried about his head as well. And the last thing he wanted was Harry Kane taking a penalty.
That's good. I mean, I'm glad this is we've a lot of people have been calling for big calls from Southgate and to change a lot of things, but
they're
let's just cover
with the penalties. They're obsessed.
Let's just cover penalties though for a minute. I mean, I think everyone's seen the images of Pickford's water bottle going around today. Well, he was trying to do his best to get in there. Pickford's a great goalkeeper. He's almost always going to save at least one penalty in a shootout. So as soon as it went to penalties, I was really confident. What did you make of our takers though? Adi, if you can start.
I think that I actually was pretty confident we'd win on penalties.
Yeah, same.
Yeah,
we're obsessed with them. Like, it's one thing that they're brilliant at now, and I've seen a lot of things about them really not being happy about stuff being talked about either, because they've really studied it, haven't they? And they've got Chris Markham, who's at Bolton now, was a big part of that, wasn't he? In his role at the FA, he implemented a lot of ideas on penalties.
A lot of psychology that goes on behind it as well,
yeah,
down to like the timing of your run-ups and stuff like that. And
well, that's it, yeah. It was this idea that they talked about, is the idea if it's a lottery beforehand being a good way to think about it, but that's the opposite, because you're taking away all the control, whereas you've got full control over it. If you can control your run-up, how long your run-up is, how much you breathe before, exactly which way you strike it, how you strike it, you can almost control the outcome completely.
Well, I think we had 5 great penalty takers. I don't know how many Bellingham's taken in his career, but he did. I think he was always going to take one if he was on the pitch. Trent the same. Just him being able to put a ball generally wherever he wants helps. Saka's got a great record. Cole Palmer, obviously great, especially this season. But I think the standout one's got to be Toney's. I mean, it's not something new to anyone who watches the Premier League, but the focus that it's got after this shootout, the amount of angles that you get to see of him, you don't even glance at the ball even a little bit as soon as he starts his run up. Scott, I mean, just talk to me a little bit about Ivan Toney. I mean, I love it, and I get it as a professional. But you've heard like Alan Shearer and Gary Lineker and these unbelievable goal scorers say, "I would never take a penalty like this."
Yeah, just fucking put your foot through it. That's what they all say, and that's what Trent did. To be fair to him, but yeah, it's weird. Obviously, watching it in the moment, you didn't really see what he did. You know, his run up, it's like a one-step style thing, isn't it? And obviously, when you're in the moment and you're nervous and you're not really looking for that, it's only afterwards that you get to see it, and you just think, "Fucking hell, the balls on this guy!" Just to even do. I mean, he's clearly what he does. So to him, it's probably just another day at the office. But yeah, pressure cooker situation to do that. It was very impressive. I think the only thing I was also confident, like Liam said, once we got to pens, but having so many good penalty takers almost made me even more nervous because it's like you've been good. Like Palmer, for example, Palmer stepped up first, and I was like, "Fucking hell!" He's pinged away every single penalty I've seen him take this year. If he is going to fuck one up, this is probably where it happens. And that's what I thought with Toney, with Trent. It's like on paper this should not go against us, but Sods eventually have to miss one at some point. It's like,
Yeah.
please don't fucking be this one, especially not Palmer, because then I've got to defend him, and yeah, it's just another job I don't want. But
Liam, sorry,
unreal.
just Liam, staying on Tony's penalty for a second. It's talking about the science of them. They can be more. I don't know if scientific's the right word, but a bit more pointed about your penalty selection and the amount of time Tony gives himself. The fact that he is only looking at the goalkeeper, it gives him an advantage because he has a lot more. But the goalkeeper can't commit. If he commits, Tony's in. He's run up to that shot. He isn't looking at anything but the goalkeeper. So as soon as the goalkeeper commits, he's done. So the goalkeeper can't commit. Therefore, he has to go late with his decision. The sheer maths of him going late reduces his chance of saving it anyway. Do you think it's like the perfect penalty technique?
It's probably unfair, isn't it?
It's almost unfair. They're going to bring in a rule where you have to look at the ball and you run up.
I would say it is unfair. And it doesn't seem that long ago. I did wonder this when I saw Ronaldo's penalty in the France game, where he stopped twice in his run-up. And I thought, where did that rule go where it had to be one movement? That was a rule for a short period of time. Going back a few years here.
You can't completely stop or fake to shoot. So that's why they call it a staggered run-up. Yeah, it is. It is officially, because I saw Neymar try one not so long ago where he, at the end of his run-up, swung his foot over the ball, like almost a running, but a standing step over, if you will.
Right.
So you can't do that. You can't fake to shoot, and you can't completely stop during your run-up. So that's why they stagger it, and they're always sort of, even very slightly, but in motion.
Okay. Yeah. I'm not sure it's fair, but
Fucking drives me mad. I hate seeing that.
But it's coming home, so I don't care.
Right. We have a semi-final to approach. When we may be back on air before the final if we get there, but Netherlands coming up. Who do we look out for?
Question.
Pie's got to be the one. Pie's got to be with the. I mean, I don't think he's far off being Holland's all-time goal scorer. I'm sure I saw. Which is, as they say, the game's gone if that's what's happened. But and I actually like Memphis as well. To be fair, I always wanted him to do well. I don't know. He just seemed like one of those arrogant fuckers who I wanted to turn out to be a decent player, and he wasn't actually all that. But he's got to be a big threat. think Van Dijk as well, of course. We've got because from a set piece, as much as I don't like to admit it, he's an absolute fucking pain in the arse to try and defend.
Well, they've got a great defence altogether. I think that if they play with that three, we've got Ake and Delict, who's not even getting a look in. De Vrij, I don't know how you say his name, the Inter defender.
De
Vrij, yeah.
I call him De Vrij. But we'll get into a Netherlands preview in a bit. There's also another semi-final of Spain and France. I have Spain have arguably been the most impressive team in the competition. I don't know if you'd agree, but I have a feeling France are still going to nick it in a little bit. Like, yeah, I don't know.
They'll bring them down to their level. I do think that despite everything in this tournament, it's going to be England-France in the final.
Yeah,
despite these two teams stinking the place out.
Yeah.
It's going to be them in the final. So almost everyone's predictions of these teams being too good to not be in the final, it seems to have kind of working out that way. Touch wood, but we'll see. We'll see.
I agree, and I think if France is probably who we would want on the balance of the tournament, I think Spain would. I think Spain would pose a problem that I don't think we're equipped to deal with. I think they're a bit too direct for how we would be comfortable with, and I think France we would be able to nurse that game a bit more in our favour, where Spain would be more of a containment job, which I think is just a disaster waiting to happen.
It's not in our wheelhouse, that is it. Right. No. Let's wrap this up nicely. Thank you very much, both, for your thoughts on that. Let's go to the most important piece of news in this Euro 2024 is our prediction league. We have are you two the two bottom at the moment? I'm trying to remember the league table.
I was second bottom last I checked. I'm pretty sure that's still. I think I've been there since the first game.
We joint bottom now, Scott. I think we might be joint bottom.
It's not looking good, is it?
Whilst our fearless leader, me, sits right at the top for the first time ever. By the way,
I've got concerns personally.
How so, Liam?
Isn't it?
I don't know.
Do you want to make them public, or are you keeping them to yourself?
I might put it to the governing body first.
You're talking to the governing body right now.
A Nottingham Forest type appeal. I'm going to put a statement on my website, just completely writing off this tournament as corrupt. The cartel.
Corrupt. Oof.
The red cartel of holding me back again.
Strikes again.
They do.
Well, your guests, Chris and Steve, are currently second and third. There's all still a lot of points to play for, though.
No,
everyone's still got some.
I'm going to send you the money. It's over. You've won.
I've not yet. I've not, but I am. I'm as surprised as anyone at the state of this league table. But I have done well. But I was joking in the WhatsApp group, but I have had a method of getting going with my scores, and what I do is go with a scoreline that I would usually pick, and then I think what you would say if I told you that scoreline, because your answer would generally be, if I say England are going to win 3-0, and you go, nah, we'll win on penalties, just to be contrarian, just to go the other way. Like,
you're talking to Scott here, by the way.
Oh, I'm talking to you. just to go the opposite way. Nah, we'll piss it. Or if I think it's going to be like 0-0, you go, nah, we'll batter them 5-0. So I generally go with the Liam O'Meara voice in my head, and it's worked out this year.
I need to. The Liam O'Meara voice in mine hasn't helped me this year.
You must be clouded.
I keep changing my mind and changing correct scores. I must have given away about 5 correct scores.
You've given away a few, to be fair.
This started before the tournament, though. You made the mistake, I think, of getting involved in this whole switching thing. You changed your wild card, and
I was against it. I came on. I was all because I had Romania. Look at them. They won the fucking group.
This is why you should have stuck to your morals.
There's been a lot going on. We have 3 games left, so 12 points to play for.
And they went out and scored 1 goal.
Yeah.
12 points to play for, plus whatever your extra teams can get. So there's still a lot to go left.
Mbappe. Still waiting on that Mbappe hat trick.
Is he returned from injury yet?
No, he's got no nose left. You can see it actually hurts him. Like you can see he's in pain.
He ducked from an header, I think. Yeah, I think he had
breathe properly.
You can't if you broke your nose. So yeah,
Kane's has scored so many goals.
Speaking of rule changes, though, you're the one who wants to change the rules now.
No, look, I'm Mr. Integrity. I'm not changing anything. Rules have been changed, but
have they?
You know, well, yeah.
There was a potential vote on the rule change, because every year we do double for the semi, triple for the final. Like every year we've done that. The vote this year was to go against that.
Because Luke got in everyone's head about it, didn't he? Because Luke thought he was going to be hosting to victory by now, didn't he?
This was when Luke had just peaked at the top of the table. He'd just got to the top.
He got in everyone's head as if they were all being cheated against him.
When it turns out you've all pretty much thrown away your chances of victory.
I've only led for the first night. That's it.
Yeah. When the WhatsApp group went flying of the undeniable, undisputed, all-time champion chat. No, there's still a lot to play for. I'm not getting too excited. I'm as surprised as anyone. Luke and yourself keep calling the integrity of the competition into question.
I've not said anything.
You've been alluding to it, and I know your game, and you know your game. So just be clear with our audience.
No, I would never pull your integrity into question, Martin.
It's good because that leaves you even further bottom of the league.
A lot of direct hits. You've done really well with them.
Yeah,
threat there.
It is threatened. His crown is about to be relinquished, and he's just upset.
I threw it off in despair after match day 1. Like
after Mbappe's injury.
Yeah. Oh god, that hurt me so much inside when I saw it. When I saw the state of his nose with the inverted commas suspected broken nose.
Broken nose. It was hanging off the back of his head.
I was like, I think this is going to be a problem for me. This.
Right. So that's the predictions league. Let's just wrap it up here with a little predictions. First of all, are we going to get to the final? Yes or no?
Yes.
Yes.
Are we going to win the final?
Yes.
Yes, we are. I'm changing my tune. We're going to win it.
Dare we say them 3 dreaded words?
It's coming.
Can I just say something on this, by the way? No, I don't think it is, because we've sort of co-opted. It's coming home means we've won the World Cup. Let's not change what that actually means. The Euros has never been home.
Any trophy, Scott. We've changed it to any trophy now.
Nations League is
I'll take that. It's coming home.
I would take the Nations League.
We're in the second division of that, aren't we, next time?
Yeah, we have stunk that one out.
Scotland are in the top division of that, and we're in.
Fuck's sake.
We're down there.
Well, they'll enjoy that. Do you remember when Scotland were in this, by the way? How long ago was that?
There's a long time ago.
I forgot.
It didn't last long.
Didn't
last very long.
Yeah, Sandy Roberts talking about it. I thought, I completely forgot Scotland
They were the first team on the way back, them lads.
Anything less than a week.
Right. Let's wrap it up there. Boys, hopefully I will see you again this week before the final. If not, you'll be seeing us again on Monday after a boring Euros 2024 final that didn't feature England, but hopefully that's not the case.
If it comes home, I might not be home yet by that point.
That's true. If it does come on, we might have a really delayed next episode.
Yeah. I booked it off. I booked Monday off work just in case.
I should do that, really.
Yeah.
Let's do that. Hopefully.
Do that in case it comes home.
If England reach the final, there's going to be a big show, and if anyone is in the Bolton area, I'll be at the courthouse in Bolton. Big DJ event,
is that
live
only
show.
If it comes home?
Only if we get to the final.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Do they show the games in there?
Yes. Big screens, a lot of screens.
There's no music while the game's on, though, is there? You're not going to start playing
not while the game's on, no. Pre-match, half-time, end of match celebrations well into the early hours of the morning.
Will you play Sven?
I'll play whatever you frigging want if we win that cup. I'll play the Macarena on loop for the next 3 hours if we win. Ketchup song, we're on the ball, Will I Am, jukebox,
Will.i.am, yeah. Megamix. You're making me a Will.i.am Megamix.
Will.i.am Megamix, that'll be it. Right, boys. Let's wrap this one up. Hopefully we'll see you all soon. Thank you very much. You can catch all the information from our episodes at www.fixingfootballpodcast.com. It's coming on, boys. Thanks very much.
See you in a
Bye,
bit.
everyone.